right. What is up, everybody? To those who are listening, welcome to another edition of a live stream of the We Want Houston podcast. Day four of Houston Texans training camp is in the books. I got home a little bit early. I left, I want to say, after the third or fourth series by the Houston Texans offense and team drill. So, yeah, man, I got here, beat the traffic, as you can see. I got my merch right there. There you go. Got my jewelry. Got the hat right there. We show you the towel. You know, right there. So yeah, shout out to everybody who was there. Such a beautiful thing. Back together weekend, as the NFL calls it. It's great to see the passionate Texans fans. Look, I pulled up around 6 a.m., 6:30, and the line was already developed. Shout out to Harley. Shout out to AD with H Town Rundown. Shout out Mr. 713. Um, oh my goodness, my mind's going blank. Ruben, there you go. My gosh. Ruben and Harley, shout out those guys. Shout out Bo Diggs. He was there. Shout out, Texans fan battle represented well there. So yeah, man, we were out there having a good time, standing out there for what seemed like a couple hours. Uh, Deep Steel Thunder, the band, they were there too. So in all, it was a great experience. A lot of moon bounces, a lot of stuff, bells and whistles before getting to the actual training camp of it all. But I am here to not talk about the fluff of the extracurricular activities. I'm here to talk through my notes from training camp day before. Now, mind you, this is my first ever training camp that I've been able to experience up close and personal. So everything was new for me, bright and shiny, but I had a great time, great food. But yeah, got two cards with the notes. But to get into that, yeah. So by the way, shout out to Houston Texans legends Matt Murphy, former tight end for the team, early 0203, and then also legendary Jim Herndon, okay, former tackle for the Texans. I'm sorry for the there. I just want to make sure I have the names right. But no, shout out those two guys right there. Sign my cards right here. Got my notes on the back, so sorry about that. But yeah, so here we go. So anyway, Texans training camp. Now, I on the drive home, I really struggled with how I wanted to approach, recounting training camp. Do I go offense first? Do I go defense first? Do I go sequencing? Do I go indie drills? Like it was just so much jam packed into that session that we were at. But I will try my best to give you everything succinctly to where you can learn more about our Houston Texans, right? So, as a macro point, I will just say this: my first big takeaway from training camp day four for a defense that finished as the best overall yardage defense allowed in the NFL last year, for a defense that finished as the second and the arguably best defense, again, at points scored outside of the Seattle Seahawks, um, you would think that these guys are playing for their jobs out there. When I tell you that, excuse me, the aura, the presence, the physicality, the intensity that these defenders played with today, these guys look hungry. These guys look not satisfied with what they put on the field last season. Again, mind you, this was the number one defense overall last year. This was the second best defense at points scored against last year, but they're playing like they have a point to prove. From Kalen Bullock to Jalen Petrie to Aziz Al-Shire to Reed Blankenship to Danielle Hunter, who I will discuss because that man's a monster, no duh. These guys are ferocious. And again, this isn't like it shouldn't be new to me, right? Because we've seen this defense live and in color on our TV screens, nationally, locally, for the last couple of years, right? But it's one thing to see them be elite, right? On television in football games, right? But for me, experiencing this defense up close in person in a practice session for the first time, in this new era of Texans football, these guys are like that just all the time. Like everything is earned with these dudes. Head coach D'Amico Ryans, defensive coordinator Matt Burke, and all that defensive staff. Shout out to them for not just us and general manager Nick Casario, because these men did not just assemble like talent. They didn't just do that. Like they are immensely talented, but they did not just assemble these dudes. They found this nuclear mix in all the best ways of personalities, of scheme, of play styles, strengths and weaknesses. These guys complement each other so perfectly. It's scary. And the fact that they've added Caden McDonald in the middle, they've added Reed Blankenship on the back end. You got the more experiencedness of Kalen Bullock and Jalen Petrie and Derek Stingley and all these guys who are already multi-time Pro Bowlers, multi-time All Pros. You got Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, who are already arguably, not arguably, the best 1-2 punch at defensive end in the NFL. And then you have talks of this team possibly acquiring Jadeveon Clowney or having interest in this man. I will warn the rest of the NFL as a Houston Texans advocate. I will say, as somebody who would say yes, we should get Jadeveon Clowney. As a warning to the rest of the NFL, if you allow this Texans defense to get Jadeveon Clowney or just further add to an already elite, ferocious defensive unit, you're asking for everything that you're going to get, right? So for me, watching this defense up close as my large kind of point going into training camp notes from day 4, I mean, there's not much you could have done against this defense. But that's not something that is new, right? I'm just saying, as a first timer watching them up close, it was breathtaking to see how every blade of grass that C.J. Stroud in that offense, or Davis Mills, or Graham Mertz, or whomever tried to get, it was, yeah, we'll get into it. But yeah, so shout out the defense. They killed it. Yeah. But speaking of that, so let's kind of, let me not get too ahead of myself. Let me not bury this lead. So I'm gonna just start at the top with my notes here from training camp, from the time I sat down to the time we started. So players start trickling out, right? Everybody's excited. I caught eyes of Marlon Klein. That's kind of my first note. I saw Marlon Klein wearing number 83 out there. He was getting the crowd hyped up, and I just got to note it here. Marlon Klein is a huge individual. That man is a massive 6'6". Like, I know he's 6'6", but to watch this dude, like, I'm talking about, that is a humongous target. If the Texans can get anything out of Marlon Klein, he already has the physical matchup advantage, like any chance he wants it. But if they can really develop like the mentality and just how to schematically use him other than just a blocker, or just add variety to his arsenal, like Nick Casario could have struck some kind of gold with Marlon Klein. Like, and again, I know I've already seen it. Like, people have already clowned me and said, "Oh, you cut him already." Huh?" Like, no, I just have been one of those who, I was ignorant to Marlon Klein. I didn't know. A lot of us didn't know, right? And still don't know. But upon watching him, and upon seeing kind of how they try to use him later on in the series, uh, again, there's only so much you got to add to his game, right, before he just becomes a dominant force. Think about, and again, please don't clip this, but think about how Giannis Antetokounmpo, to make an NBA connection, when he came to the league, right, he was just this long, gangly guy, had the physical advantages, all the physical tools, but he just was long. He was lanky. He was not big yet. He didn't have his adult body. He kind of didn't know what he was doing. He was like a baby lamb almost. But as soon as Giannis added some more muscle and some more experience and knowing how to play the game and kind of adding somewhat to his offensive arsenal, right? He still was at his core who he was. But when he added more to his arsenal, muscle, talent, scheme, all this stuff, he became MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion, Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? So in the same way with Marlon Klein, am I saying that he has the equivalent ceiling of a Giannis? No. But physical traits wise, that man is a massive target that should be able to find a mismatch whenever he chooses. The only thing I'll say about him, and again, I don't want to get too far ahead of it because I got a note about this later. Like, you can just tell what he needs to work on right now. But again, he's rookie, mystery. We'll see. But that's kind of my first thing. Outside of that, positional drills, I got Kalen Bullock just looking real smooth out there. Really smooth with his hip transitions. Going in and out of his breaks as he's backpedaling downfield. Again, there were no plays being run here, but again, just watching Kalen Bullock get smoother. Not saying he wasn't before, but just be a smooth transitioner, backpedaling, lurking, going down the field, tracking the ball in the air, and of course coming down with it as a ball hawk he is. Like, it just looks great to see Kalen Bullock just is improving so much in the nuances at the position. In what is this, year 3 for him? So again, like, I expect big things out of Kalen Bullock. Funny, Frank Ross. Apparently, he looks like John Bernthal, right? And I can see that. Like, maybe John Berthal's baby cousin. I don't know, but it was funny. He laughed at it when someone called it out to him. So shout out to him. Um, Frank Ross, man, he just gets you hype, man. One of the greatest, just most genuine dudes in the league, right? I'm really surprised that we haven't seen him considered for other coaching roles outside of Houston. I'm thankful, right? I want to keep Frank Ross because I believe he's very swarming, but I'm surprised that he has not been, called upon by other teams, right, to probably get hired somewhere else. Outside of that, um, yeah. So, Jalen Reed. It was nice to see him out there, in positional drills, right? Just again, nothing tremendous happening, no team drills yet, but just to see him out there making plays, catching the ball. And what I noticed is Jalen Reed looks like he has intention at the point of catch, right? Like, And what I mean by that is, some DBs catch footballs with the point of just getting down or just securing the interception and being done with it. Like, no, Jalen Reed looks like even in those little drills, you see him very much under control at the point of catch, to where I could easily see maybe a pick six in the future, right? Like, if he can get his hands on a couple INTs in season, I can see him by the way of how under control he is at the point of catch on that football and kind of how he maneuvers. Um, I don't know. That's kind of just what I thought about. So, or maybe just me being excited for him to be back in the fold. But regardless, I expect to see some big things in Jalen Reed's second year. So shout out to him. Let me see. Let me see. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead a little bit to the team drills. That's what we want to know about offense versus defense. Where do we stand? So up until this point, the defense, of course, has been doing their thing. Um, Offense has been having their successes here and there. Right. We know CJ Stroud threw his interception and Jalen Petrie in that one, and everybody lost their minds. Oh my gosh. Right. But again, it's early in the training camp. It's not a big deal. It's not the regular season. If there's any mistakes, you want them to be made right now. However, going into team drills today, please remember what my point was earlier, which was this defense is electric. And it made me think about this. Um, I know that Will Anderson has a reputation for being a play wrecker, to where they have to sit him off to the sideline sometimes and like let the offense run. I think we're thinking too small. I think if our offense, any offense in practice, right, game practice, wants to move the ball against this defense, you'd have to rest like half the first team defense just to look competent a lot of times with your offensive play design, because my goodness. So just look, starting with the first team offense first series, right? CJ Stroud gets sacked on the first play. By who? Danielle Hunter. Because of course he does, right? Um, Danielle Hunter blew up the play, right? Basically, Danielle Hunter blew up the entire first series. If you want to be funny about it, second play I want to say was a running play, not too much right home about, maybe 4 or 5 yard pickup. Third play, Woody Marks. Shout out to Woody Marks. Looks very sharp on his cuts today, running in between the tackles. He didn't do a lot, Woody Marks today, but again, he looks good in between the tackles, ball in his hands. Just sharp cuts, sharp movements, decisiveness. So I like to see that. But yeah, third play, I mean, whistle was short, and then fourth play, CJ was sacked again, and that was your first series on offense, right? Again, that's what you kind of see right there. But for first one, Davis Mills then stepped up to the plate for the second series with the twos. Unfortunately, he threw an interception, which I think was it a pick six. It might have been, but I know definitely Davis Mills on his first pass attempt it got picked off. Excuse me, by oh my goodness, who was that? I'm like, oh yeah, Kamari Ramsey. That's right, Kamari Ramsey, the rookie, got him an INT, which is awesome. I wanted to see that. Kamari Ramsey was one of my guys who I was excited about coming out of USC. Excuse me. I thought he could find a place on this team. In the midst of all their defensive depth, I just thought with him being either nickel or just kind of being there as DB depth, I thought very highly of him. So to see him kind of making a play in the twos, that was great to see. But then after that, the very next play, Jawhar Jordan, who a lot of people have already penciled in as running back three for this team, and after today, I mean, you might be right. Took one to the house, I think, and if not, I mean, very large game down the sideline, which led us to our first scuffle of the day for training camp. So they got in each other's faces. I believe it was Keenan Rutledge and Aziz Al-Shair. I think, I don't want to be wrong. Check out other Texans writers, content creators, John Alexander, DJ Bieniemy, Jacob Barzilla, and others who have also were there who saw it, and they're much more detailed than I'm being right now. But yeah, so that's what happened. First of many scuffles, well, two scuffles actually before I left. The crowd was fired up, so there's that. So yeah, so that was your first big play action by the offense on the day when the twos kind of got in. So there you go. And then after that, what Graham Mertz, he stepped up to the plate with the threes coming in, and excuse me, that was man, this guy right here. I turned my head for a second, and he was just streaking down the field. I think it came off a slant route, and he took it to the house. This one actually was a house call. Oh my goodness, who was this? Number 31. It's not Damian Pierce. Oh my gosh, who was it? Either 31 or 41. One second, hold on. Mm, oh, Pitzenberger? Yeah, Joshua Pitzenberger. I'm so sorry. So yeah, Pitzenberger took one to the house, which is cool to see. Again, like these are twos and threes, so it's not like, oh my gosh, we found something here. But you're happy for these guys because again, they're not only auditioning for the Texans, they could be auditioning for some other team. So there's that. So kind of a quick recap. Series one was defense dominated, nothing much there. Second series with the twos, he had a touchdown by Jawhar Jordan after the, I guess, would be pick six by Davis Mills, or just again big play by Kamar Ramsey. And then third series, you have a huge catch and run for a touchdown by Josh Pitzenberger. So there you go. All right, so yep. So that was my kind of first set of notes for the first series for all three. Yep. After that, much of the same, honestly. Literally the same script. Now, DJ Bieniemy, he mentioned, and this was after I left. DJ Bieniemy, ESPN Texans reporter, he said that the offense did pick it up after what, like in the later parts of practice, maybe after the second half of practice, they picked it up. But as far as when I was there, it was a slosh. It was a struggle for our offense to get anything going. And on one hand, again, it's predictable because this defense does that to everybody, right? But again, Bo Diggity and I were talking pre-stream, and we were saying we both wanted to see, like many others do, just better pre-snap procedures by the offense, getting the ball out quick, making decisive decisions, and just looking competent. Even if you don't get big chunks against this defense, which would be rare based off how elite they are. I mean, just look good, right? Just contribute what you can, find the positives, right? And just stay on the field in a sense, figuratively. So then you have the second series of the ones come out. Really, the big highlight play there was just a intermediate pass to Dalton Schultz that CJ Stroud completed. And again, one note that I want to say and echo what DJ Bieniemy said, which is, yeah, CJ was holding the ball a lot today in practice, and I don't blame him because you got three or four edge rush. I mean, three or four defenders who are breaking through your line, so you see that. Good coverage back there. Of course, you would. You have multiple Pro Bowlers and all pros back there, but just holding the ball. I don't know if he was guessing. I don't know if he was just confused, or I don't know, just trying to make something big happen. But um, again, credit to him. Got the pass off the Dalton Schultz, completed down the sideline. So that was that. That was the one highlight there because the previous two plays, one and two, were run plays. So there's that. After that, oh yes, forgot to mention, Davis Mill. I mean, sorry, Derek Stingley took a nasty spill. So he was friendly fired by linebacker Henry Toa, called a shoulder pad, mean one to the helmet, head snapped backwards, hit the turf like that. Players took a knee, crowd got silent. Of course, that's all pro sting, and he was down for like maybe like a minute and a half, and then he got back up. Everybody clapped for him. Thankfully, I think he had his guardian cap on, so there's that. There's the Jalen Petrie effect because I shudder to think if Derek Stingley would have not had any type of further padding on his head, we are talking about a concussion. Like it looked that bad on camera. It was like a bang bang head, boom, snap, turf, and he was down. So he went to the blue tent after that, and then thankfully he returned later with the one. So that's good. Getting into this next series, getting into this next series with the ones again, skipping ahead a bit, didn't get any better. Didn't get any better. At least again when I was there. For this next series with Stroud under center, I want to say they went three straight pass attempts. First one was a deep pass attempt down the left sideline to Nico Collins. Kamar Lassiter was covering him. The ball falls incomplete. Um, I mean, what are you gonna do, right? That was the first deep pass attempted of the day. It wasn't a bit of an overthrow, maybe, but no. Lassiter was in Nico's hip pocket. He was there, So there you go. Second pass, well, it really should have been a sack, honestly. CJ jumped through the pocket, but it was a sack for all intents and purposes. I want to say maybe Tommy Togia, I think that might have been his sack, maybe. Check out Jacob Barzell on X. I think he called it out. But then passing complete over the middle. Kalen Bullock was there. Again, that like I need people to understand this. Kalen Bullock has made his bones. Man has like what 9 picks, 7 to 9 picks in only 2 years as a pro. And he's done this mainly by being like a back, a deep third safety, like being back there, patrolling, tips, overthrows, sometimes over the middle doing stuff, but for the most part, he's gotten picks, intermediate to deep. With the addition of Reed Blankenship, if you're able to deploy Kalen Bullock in other ways to where because you trust Reed to not blow his assignment or you just trust the vet to know where to be on a play-to-play basis, like you can have a much more versatile play mix with Kalen Bullock and Reed Blankenship. And just imagine a Kalen Bullock who already was a ball hawk, but like this more fully unlocked version where because he trusts his guy next to him, because again, we've gone through CJ Gardner Johnson, who by the way went down today and Bill's camp, I believe. So hope the best for him. You've had CJ Gardner Johnson. You had different safeties who've occupied the opposite spot of him and have not panned out like you want. If you gave him a partner to be there and Bullock can just kind of do his thing, So again, there's that. Then you got a false start, Arianta Ursery, on the play after that. So again, there's those pre-snap things. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That was two plays later. The play after that was an incomplete pass on the screen. I think Tommy T got his hand in there again to stop that. So again, this is a great series for Tommy Togiai. So shout out to him, uh, defensive tackle. Then on the fourth play of that series, you had a false start on Arianta Ursery. So there's the pre-snap things that you don't want to see. And then, but after that, short pass completed to Nico Collins on the right sideline. So if I could sum up maybe what I saw, at least from my time there at training camp for the ones on offense, if your name was not Dalton Schultz or Nico Collins, you struggled with getting the ball. For whatever reason that was. And I if I had to nitpick early on in this training camp, these training camp sessions, I just would prefer to see a little bit more being able to feature other guys. Yes, David Montgomery, he was nice in space today. Woody Marks, he looked sharp. Jawhar Jordan, he had a day. But again, like your pass catchers, your Marlon Kleins, of course your Dalton Schultz's, right? But outside of him, your Brevin Jordans and the like you do need to see other guys making plays on this offense. But I get it though. It's against our defense in practice. We won't probably know a lot more until you maybe on the 18th, I believe, against the Raiders, when you really can kind of see what you're working with. Because right now, I mean, listen again. If your name is not Nico Collins or Dalton Schultz, like I don't see a lot of consistent assuming when CJ is not being sacked. That's the other thing. Like the offensive, if I had to like my big takeaway from my thing also is that the offensive line, just I get it. It's Danielle, it's Will, it's Tommy T, it's Katie McDonald's, it's Sheldon. I understand that, but like CJ did not have really any time to throw a lot when I was there. Like by the time he gets the ball in his hand, somebody's already in his faceplate like this. Like it was that bad. Like so I can't blame CJ for not being able to throw the ball. I cannot blame the receivers that much when the offensive line really struggled to keep their men in front of them and to maintain protection. So, you know, I need to see more from the offensive line. We all got to see more from the offensive line. Whether that's just again being quick strike or being decisive, but just performing better. That has to improve. That is arguably the biggest question mark besides CJ Stroud's performance individually, besides the rushing attack. The offensive line, what are you going to get from a down by down basis by this offensive line? So there's that. After that, I mean, Davis Mills in his series after that, pretty decent. He had a completed pass too, and again, this, I'm blanking right now. Davis Mills in this next, yeah. Oh, British Brooks. There you go. Wow, how could I forget? Please forgive me. But yeah, British Brooks got a feature today, right on the short pass. So there you go. That was pretty awesome. After that, you had a short pass complete to Jawhar Jordan, who after this, like this is on the left side now on this series, and Jawhar Jordan got shifty, climbed through the defenders, got to the second level. It didn't go for a touchdown, but still, it was great to see Jawhar Jordan getting the ball in his hands on the short passes in the screen game, and just getting shifty. Like he just looks good. He does. Like he looks like okay. Like he looks like he should make the team, right? So again, before people clown me too much about my takes on Noah Whittington and scheme fit and all this stuff, hey, this is why you study. This is why you take notes. This is why you go and watch for yourself so you can learn things, right? So, hey, if Jawhar Jordan can look like that, then definitely you want him in your screen game, being a change of pace back, being an outlet, when pressure comes, if you're a CJ shot or whomever is taking snaps on the center. He's just a great outlet. So there you go. Shout out Jawhar Jordan. And then let's see what else we got here. Davis Mills had a pass batted back down to him on the play after that. That was funny. Um, Unfortunately, he's not Marcus Mariota, so he couldn't do much after that. But there's that. And then after that, Graham Mertz steps back in on his next series with the threes. And this is where I kind of tease with my Marlon Klein take. Um, and I'll kind of wrap up here because that's kind of before special teams happen. Graham Mertz, I want to say he did throw a dime to Marlon Klein, right? Bars. Um, Down the sideline, you can kind of see that the seam threat that Marlon Klein could be. Like, because I was sitting there, Marlon Klein, he ran up on the route, ball was floating his way, and you just saw it. Nice, pretty ball. Marlon Klein, first of all, Marlon Klein is all of 6'6". That man is a massive target. And to watch that ball float over to him, he had the completion. And I hate that I forgot who was covering him, but there was a DB like right in front of him, and then somebody, on the back end of him right here. And the ball was floating to him. This is where my nitpick is going to be about Marlon Klein, right? Big body, 6'6". Amazing looking athlete. Looks like an intense individual, right? He was getting us hyped up before the practice started. But the ball came into his hands and he tried to cradle it like this, right? And it was getting there, and for all intents and purposes, it was a completion until it wasn't. Why? Because he breadbasketed the ball, but he didn't attack it like he could have. And this is where, I don't want to nitpick, I don't want to be armchair, wide receiver, but for Marlon Klein, with him already having the size advantage, literally like motioning him around the about around the play, around the line of scrimmage, finding mismatches, like not many DBs and linebackers can guard a 6'6" target who can leap, right? With a large wingspan like that, right? Not many, right? So what the fact is, you already have a green check mark in the fact that you are going to be the mismatch every single time if you want it. The thing after that for me is he had, like I said, to the honest point, he being Marlon Klein, if he taps into an attack mindset at the high point of the ball, like nobody should be able to just jaw the ball loose from this man because he's so massive, right? And this time around, look, credit the defense, but again, Marlon waited for the ball to get there as opposed to going up to attack that football out of the sky, pluck it, and say, "That's mine, give it here," right? So that's my one nitpick about Marlon Klein. Like that's what I'm saying. That pass right there shows you, like, okay, like that has potential to be like a red zone play, chain moving play, big four down kind of thing. Like you can easily see how that can translate to just clutchness from the Texans offense when they need it. If nothing else is going on and they're in a rut, you have a 6'6" body who can be a cheat code at tight end, right? So there's that. But again, this is assuming that Marlon Klein just continues to develop, continues getting good reps. Which again would mean I need to see him in the preseason, right? Like we need to see a lot of these guys in preseason. So there's that, work on those kind of things, and in live games, and just be an attacker of the football at 6'6". If he does that, there's no telling what this tight end group could be, at least for Texan standards. Like, because you got Dalton Schultz, great possession guy, career season last year. Brevin Jordan's coming back, he looks good. Kate Stover, he might be fullback, maybe not. I don't know. Foster Moreau's already there. But if you can really get something out of your 59th overall drafted, second rounder Marlon Klein, like again, this offense takes another leap. This offense has another lever it can pull when things go wrong. So there goes that. But as far as what I got before I left, excuse me, those are my notes. I'm trying not to make this too lengthy. I'm already about up to 30 minutes. So but yeah, Texans fans, that's kind of what I saw. Again, amazing time with Texans fans being there. You saw the passion, you saw the heart, you saw you saw the love for one another by people. People were hanging out on gates by fences to see the players walk through. They were cheering for every single person: D'Amico, Marlon Klein, T.J. Stroud, all the guys. So you know, um, along with the intensity in camp today. Wait, did I mention there were a couple scuffles? Yeah, I did. I think there were a couple scuffles. So yeah, I mentioned that. But anyway, the passion definitely is there. Intensity has risen in the city of Houston. Um, again, I just those are just my thoughts from today. All right, so last thing, I want to give like a star of training camp, right? Probably one from the defense, one from the offense, or I might just shout out a number of guys. But my shooting stars, my shining stars, my shining swarmers for the day, you could say. Danielle Hunter, of course. Again, like he's one of the most underrated pass rushers of our era. Speaking of Danielle Hunter, consistently excellent, consistently in good shape, consistently available, right? Because remember, the best ability is availability. So shout out to Danielle Hunter, blowing up the first series for the ones today, and just further proving that he is one of the greatest pass rushers of this modern era of football. And it's to the point now where I hope he retires a Texan in some kind of way. I really don't want to see this defense without Danielle. So maybe they keep giving him guaranteed money. I don't know. But shout out to Danielle Hunter. On the offensive side of the ball, my shout out today goes to Jawhar Jordan. Right, like again, I have said my commentary on what I thought would happen in RB3, but Jawhar Jordan showed me in his own way today. Like, no, he's a contributor. He's a guy who should be trusted with the ball in his stand in open space. He can make guys miss. He should be. He just looks strong, looks decisive with his cuts. So I think he'd be excellent. In a role for the team. So I'd rather have him than not. So shout out to him. And then after that, I mean, look, of course, shout out to Texans defense. You can always say that. Just all y'all, all y'all. Let's see who else. Shout outs to Jawhar, Daniil. How could I forget? Shout out to Lewis Bond Fan Club. That's right. I got it on video. Lewis Bond with a nice completion from the on the throwing shoulder of Davis Mills. Got a first down that way. But no, the crowd got excited for Lewis Bond. Shout out to Lewis Bond. Steve Smith on the 89 show with James Palmer said that he thought that Lewis Bond could mess around and wiggle his way to wide receiver 4 or 5. Again, like I said today, I mean, looking at what I'm seeing, the fact that you had receivers outside of Nico and Dalton really struggle to either get looks or to get the ball. Um, Anybody who can be a consistent threat to be a chain mover, to just get receptions, to take heat off of CJ Stroud, to know where to be and be effective, like that's fine. You take that. And if that's Lewis Bond, who that man is not a six rounder. I'm just going to say that now. He's a six rounder on paper. That man, Lewis Bond, is not a six rounder in play. He is more than that. He has IQ. He comes from an offense that's similar to what you've already run, so he has that edge already, and he just looks good. Like he looks like he knows where to be, and he comes down with contested catches. So, again, I would like to see some peppering in of Lewis Bond, with the ones and twos, depending on the play package. I don't know. I just want to see, like, this is the opportunity in training camp just to experiment and see what you have. Outside of that, of course, you had your rotations with Keelan Rutledge and with Jake Andrews and so on and so forth. So, but outside of that, there you go. Shout out to Lewis Bond fan club. Um, shout out all the Texans fans that were there. Shout out the Texans themselves. Also thank you to Cal McNair and Hannah McNair. They were fun throwing t-shirts out there. Talked about the rivalry jerseys and how they're going to be seen soon, and they think we're going to be really happy with the design. So we shall see. I've been hearing some things, but nothing's confirmed yet. But we shall see. But yeah, that's all I got right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop this up, make an edited version. But thank you to all who joined me here. Um, it was a great time being there. Fitzlorsville. I will also try to be at the August 8th training camp. That will be my last one as a public school teacher because I got to get back to work. I've enjoyed a month and a half, 2 months off, but Fitzlorsville, I got to get back to educating, and loving these children and teaching them how to read and write at the eighth grade level. So with that said, if you want to talk, chop it up, you can find me on X, Instagram, TikTok, all these places. Use my contact information. I'm available if you want to talk ball, if you want to talk sports media, whatever I can offer. I'll give that to you. This has been Clayton Anderson with Total Times of the Fansided Network. H-Town Rundown. Shout out AD. Once again, shout out Harley. Uh, shout out Harley. Shout out Ruben. Shout out Bo Diggity. Shout out Jacob Arzilla. Saw him today. Shout out Shasta's Burner. If you've seen her in the comment section around, she was cool. Finally saw her. Shout out Texans Fan Battle. All these guys. Amazing time today. Thank you. Thank you to the McNair family. Um, Thank you to the organization. It was fun. Can't wait to do it again. All right. Well, go Texans. See you guys soon. And in the words of Jalen Petrie, are we swarming or are we not? We shall